Hari Om to everybody. Today I'll be presenting Gita Shloka 3.3. First, let me start by chanting the shloka. Om Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. This shloka translates to, the Lord said, O sinless one, the two paths leading to enlightenment were previously explained by me. The path of knowledge for those inclined toward contemplation, and the path of work for those inclined toward action. So what does this shloka exactly mean? Basically, Krishna is talking about two paths towards enlightenment. One path is called Karma Yoga, and one path is called Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga refers to physically, so acting upon, doing some action to go on the path of enlightenment. So what does this mean? This could include service to people, or it could be charity, or it could be something even as simple as chanting. So all of these are physical actions that a person can do that can take them on the path of enlightenment. And on the other side of this is Jnana Yoga. So this basically means self contemplation and self awareness. Um, so Jnana Yoga is basically done by contemplating upon who I really am, what is my true meaning. So I had a simple example for these two parts. So we've all used Google Maps, right? So imagine we're going from here to, let's say, MG Road. So when we go on Google Maps, it'll show one path. So we can go like this, we can take a right here, take a left there, and reach MG Road. But they'll show another way in it says similar ETA, similar estimated time of arrival. So basically it shows another path to the same destination. So similarly, Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga are both paths to enlightenment, but both take different routes and different ways to go to the same destination. So this is what Krishna is talking about in this shloka. So there are basically two paths, and both lead to enlightenment, but they're done in different ways. That's what I understood from this shloka.
Very nice. Keep it on. Let
Okay.
everybody ask questions. So, are there any questions?
Uncle, I have a question.
Go ahead. It's an interaction between you and the one who is presenting.
Okay. I didn't really understand how Sankhya Yoga is related to the other two.
Sorry, Sankhya Yoga, I think, was a typo. I should have put Jnana Yoga out there.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just clarify there. Let me just clarify there.
Sankhya Yoga another?
Sorry?
Go ahead.
I thought Sankhya Yoga is another name for Jnana Yoga. Is that wrong?
I'm not sure.
That is correct. That is what I wanted to clarify. So, Sankhya, what does Sankhya mean? Sankhya, one of the understanding you can have is Sankhya Shastra. You all have heard, no? 1, 2, 3, 0. So the number theory. So this entire thing, number. What is a number? So number, see, there is in nature, there is no number, right? There is nowhere, in nature you can go and say, okay, see, this is where 0 is. This is where 1 is. Somehow, the entire understanding about the numbers has come into a human mind by being with nature. So in one sense, mathematics is the way the universe is, but you cannot really see it directly, right? From what you see, you then can come to the clarity about mathematics. So the numbers, when you have a question, okay, so now I have 4 people, I have some bananas, how do I distribute? So you suddenly start thinking of, okay, how do I do it? So mathematics has come into picture like that. In outer appearance, in nature, you don't see math. Whereas in outer meaning, it is not something that comes into your perception through your senses. See, for example, mango, the taste of mango comes into your perception. The shape of mango comes into your perception through your sense. The smell of mango comes into your perception through your sense. However, the numerical aspect of mango is not something through your senses, through your 5 senses. It is something that you deduce somewhere else in your mind. So something that is not apparent, but something that becomes apparent when you go a little deeper, right? So this is what really Sankhya Yoga is. It is when you see reality, outside world, when you see through your 2 eyes, it looks like there is a tree, there is a bird, there is an elephant, there is a man, there is a woman, there is water, there is so many different varieties through the outer eyes. But when you contemplate on it a little, when you go a little deeper, when you look into what is the nature of the reality, then you can start understanding that what appears at the outside is not the reality. It is a changing aspect of something that is not changing inside. Now, that unchanging is the reality, that outside is the unreal, which is constantly changing. So this realization is not outside. Through your senses, you cannot get this realization. You contemplate on it in your mind, and through your inner mind's contemplation, you realize this, isn't it? So in a similar way, Sankhya Yoga. What is Sankhya Yoga? 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Look at the nature of the shlokas in the 2nd chapter. What has it done to you? Immediately Shri Krishna says, why are you crying? That is the starting point when Shri Krishna starts speaking. The Pandita doesn't cry. Who is a Pandita? One who has realized the truth. So he has already brought the clarity about who, the one who is always peaceful. Then he goes on to say, body, mind, everything changes. Then he goes on to say, you are something that cannot be cut by weapons, cannot be burned by fire. So like that, when you notice the nature of the shlokas of 2nd chapter, he is slowly, step by step, taking you into realize what is changing and what is unchanging. So this is Sankhya. So it applies, it is easier to understand for someone who is having that little bit of intellectual clarity and peace of mind to understand all this. But there may be some minds which are very action oriented. Ask them to come and sit and close their eyes and meditate for 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, they have opened their eyes 200 times because they cannot sit quiet. Their mind is very active, very busy. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to go there. I want to touch this. So such a mind cannot easily comprehend the truth that is shown in the Sankhya Yoga. Why? Because the mind is very active. So for them, what is then the path for realizing the truth? Karma Yoga. Do something. What do I do? Do something without expecting something in return. That is Karma Yoga. So as they keep doing, then the mind, the chatter of the mind starts reducing. The mind starts becoming calmer and calmer. When the mind becomes calm enough, then the Sankhya Yoga, the Jnana, the wisdom of the Sankhya shines in that mind also. Is this bringing clarity to the question that Manya is asking? And Aditi asked?
Yes, Vijayji. Thank you.
Yes, uncle. Thank you.
Aditya, now are you clear why it is called Jnana Sankhya Yogena?
Yeah, I got it.
In the shloka,
Yeah.
go back to the shloka. Yeah, read it again now.
Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam.
So,
Yeah.
so the path of realization for a mind that is calm enough is Jnana Yoga. Okay. So Sankhyana means, so those who have a more intellectual bent of mind can easily realize the Jnana Yoga. Then some minds have more action oriented, yoginam, for them karma yoga. Those who have an action orientedness can realize the same truth through karma yoga.
So neither is better or worse. Is that right?
Neither is better or worse. See, that's why Sri Krishna begins by saying, Loke asmin dvividha nishta. There are two paths. Now, it is not better or worse. It is what is the nature of the mind. See, for example, let's say there is a fish, there is an eagle, and there is an elephant. And today, let's say you call all the three and you tell them, today let's have a competition. They all the three are very curious. What competition? Who is the best swimmer? Let's have a competition. What do you think will happen? Who will win?
The fish.
So, which means that the elephant and the eagle are waste. They're useless.
That's not necessarily true.
Then what is the truth?
They each excel in their own different ways. So like the eagle in flying and the elephant on land.
The fish in water, right?
The fish in, yeah.
So the competition you have set up is a wrong competition. The path you have given to a elephant to win in swimming is a wrong path.
Yeah.
In a similar way, human beings have different tendencies. And human beings have different tendencies. If you ask the question, which is easier to realize the truth and which is the ultimate, ultimately it is only through jnana that one can realize. Ultimately. So it's like all the roads lead to the same destination. In the example that you gave, there are multiple paths, but the source and the destination are the same.
Okay.
You understand?
So eventually, everyone has to go into Jnana Yoga.
Correct. Eventually, through Jnana Yoga only you can realize. Means what? Inner clarity that what is the truth we are talking about? What is my true nature? What is the nature of the world? It is a simple, clear clarity in your intellect. And through that, how you live in the world.
Okay.
Is that
it's clear? Yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Manya, you have a question?
Not a question, Vijayji. My Wi-Fi is back. Could I do it today?
Sure. You want to do it next now?
Yeah, I can do it now.
Okay, but we wanted next. Okay, let's first make sure if Aditya has no more questions. Is there any question for Aditya from any one of you?
No, uncle.
And Aditya, out of curiosity, was that a chat GPT answer or was that Aditya's answer?
It is mine.
Okay.
I was watching Guruji's video also because I was a little confused.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Good. So thank you very much, Aditya.
Thank you.
Now, Who would like to take up next? So Manya is also in the ask now. So between Manya, Anita, Aditi, who would like to take next?
Could I please do it, Vijayji?
Yeah. So it's your wish.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Hari Om, everybody. Today I'll be sharing my learning from Bhagavad Gita, Shloka 3.3. Let us chant the shloka together. Please fold your hands. Keep your back straight and chant along with me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Naga Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yogina. Here is a word-to-word meaning. In case you feel it's necessary to verify or to check a word's meaning, then please do pause the video and feel free to access this. The meaning of the shloka is, the Lord said, O sinless one, the two paths leading to enlightenment were previously explained by me. The path of knowledge for those inclined towards contemplation, and the path of work for those inclined towards action. So here Krishna says that in the previous shlokas, he has already spoken about the two paths, that is the Jnana Yoga and the Karma Yoga. He's spoken about both of these paths and he's also explained it in brief. Arjuna thinks that both these paths are different and that they lead to a different destination or a play with something that's completely different paths. So he asks Arjuna, out of these two paths, that is the Karma Yoga and the Jnana Yoga, which one is the better path? So Krishna says, first of all, telling him that these are not two different paths, but these are the two rungs in the ladder of yoga. So there is a ladder climbing which one can reach Krishna consciousness or one can reach that state of enlightenment. And the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are just two rungs. So they both are not essentially two different paths, but the sets of just one single path. In order to reach Jnana Yoga, one must go through Karma Yoga, because in order to be able to understand the spiritual knowledge, one needs to have a pure mind or a pure heart. And one can get that pure heart or purify his or her heart by involving themselves in a selfless action, by doing things, by performing karma without the wanting for the results or the fruit and being detached from that. That is when through continuous efforts towards inculcating this behavior of staying neutral in any kind of result or situation, one can purify his heart, and through this he or she will be able to understand the spiritual knowledge. And Bhakti Yoga comes in the end. But here there is a very beautiful analogy, that is Bhakti Yoga is like a cat mother. Let us say that a person involved in Bhakti Yoga, what are the qualities he should have? He should have sincere devotion, intense faith, and a strong conviction. So when one is involved in Bhakti Yoga, he or she just has to cry out to the Lord by taking his name. And immediately Krishna will come and rescue that person in different forms. Just like how when a kitten is in trouble, the kitten's mother comes and picks the kitten up through using its mouth and saves the kitten. There is no need for the kitten to do anything else apart from calling out the name of his mother. Few examples are like that of Draupadi. When she was in trouble, she only had to call out to the name of Krishna. Prahalad also had to just call out to his Lord. There are so many other examples like that of Gajendra as well. In all these situations, when they were deeply involved and had sincere devotion and some faith that could never break in any circumstances, even if God did not come the first time or the second time, they still had that faith that he or she would definitely come when I need them the most. And in different forms, God will come and help us. So when someone has this kind of belief, he is said to be in that path of bhakti. And here there is no need of anything that is difficult, doing some kind of penance or some kind of a yoga. But all they need to do is just have that deep faith and devotion towards God, and just with one call, God would help them in different forms. The next one is the Jnana Yoga. So, as I told earlier, to come to Jnana Yoga, you will first have to cross the path of Karma Yoga. So, in order to have the Jnana Yoga, people need sharp intellect, an unbreaking will, a lot of determination, and steady resolution. Here, the example or the analogy would be that of a monkey. The monkey needs to cling on to its mother. Here, the mother is not really supporting the child to hold, or the mother isn't really coming to help the child. The child clings to the mother. No matter how fast the mother climbs onto trees or different ways in which she moves, she turns, but the child has to cling on. And that is the strength of the child. That is a resolution to not let hold or not give up the hold that one has towards the mother. This becomes really difficult in the Kali Yuga, especially because first of all we have a very limited number of years that we live in one lifetime. But in that lifetime, you'll have to go through several things. You have to read many scriptures, and you'll have to understand the jnana. You'll have to keep questioning yourself about your true identity, and it's a very long process. And that's the reason resolution plays a very big role. Great people like Swami Vivekananda and Sri Adi Shankaracharya, all of them came through the path of Jnana Yoga. It's all the question about who is doing the hard work. In the Bhakti Yoga, we say that I am not going to do much. I've left everything, I've surrendered completely to Krishna, and he will show me the path. He will lead me to my destination, and he will show me my truth. But in Jnana Yoga, we do most of the hard work. You go read the scriptures, you go ask yourself the answers to the questions you have. You keep trying different experiments, failing and doing newer things to find out the answers to these questions. But Bhakti Yoga is a much easier process. You surrender to God, you surrender to a Sadguru, and he or she will lead you to your true identity. Another beautiful example is, let's say Krishna is a destination, then the staircase or the ladder is the path of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Raja Yoga, and finally Bhakti Yoga. But you can directly enter Bhakti Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga is like an elevator. It takes you directly to Lord Krishna, and it's so much more easier. You just have to press a button, or you just have to go to the Sadguru's door, find the right Sadguru for you, and he will show you the path, and it's so much more easier. It's also similar to the story that we've all heard, that is of the path of Kartikeya and Lord Ganesha. Once Narada had come to Shiva and Parvati, he gave them a divine apple. He said that you'll have to give this entire apple to only one person. It can't be shared amongst two people. And the apple had some divine powers. And Shiva and Parvati loved Kartikeya and Ganesha equally. They weren't able to decide to whom they should be giving this divine apple. So they thought of testing them and said that they need to go around the world 3 times, and whoever comes first, it was like a race. Whoever comes first, finishing the race, will get the apple. Kartikeya, on one hand, was all strong and fit, and he had such a fast moving vehicle, a peacock, which could fly. So he could easily go around the world 3 times in just a few minutes. But on the other hand, Lord Ganesha, nor could he exactly run around the earth, nor could he go on his vehicle. His vehicle is a mouse. That's when you compare it to a peacock, it's really, really slow. So so here, if we pause the story here, all of us might think, if we haven't heard of the story before, that Kartikeya is going to win the race for sure, because all the odds are against him. So here we know that Kartikeya will win for sure, because and there's no doubt. But then it all changes when Lord Ganesha just goes around circumventing Lord Shiva and Parvati. And when Narada is confused and he asks, "What are you doing? You're wasting your time. Go around the world." So Ganesha says that there is no need. I already completed my task. So when asked how, Ganesha says that my father and my mother, they are my world. Lord Shiva and Parvati are my world. So going around them, I've completed my 3 rounds. So within, like, when Kartikeya was still completing half a round, Ganesha had completed the task. It's this it's like we all know that Ganesha has such powers. He can move from one place to another just in a few seconds. So is this story exactly correct, that Ganesha was helpless or something like that? No, not really. All of these stories, they have 3 layers, and one of the layer is explaining to us the truths of life, or different ways. For example, we may have many questions relating to, how do I know my true identity, or which is the easier path? There are many complexities in this world of Maya, and all of these stories that are narrated to us, all of them have such hidden depth and meaning, that when you read it again and again, or you think of it with a little bit more interest, then you will be able to find out what you can learn from the story, apart from just what is shown to you directly. So here they're also showing us the path of bhakti and karma yoga and jnana yoga collectively. Karma yoga and Jnana yoga, here you go around the world 3 times, and it's possible that you can go around quickly. You will be able to finish. For a second, let us forget about the apple. Let us ask ourselves, is it possible to go around the world 3 times? Then yes, it's possible for Kartikeya to go around the world 3 times. But the more easier, the more smarter way would be to surrender and go around something like Lord Shiva or Parvati for 3 times. It's the same thing that I've been repeating again and again about the Bhakti Yoga. All you need to do is just surrender yourself to the Supreme Lord, and He will show you the path, and that is so much more easier. Just like the example that Aditya gave about the GPS. So there is one shortest path, and there are other similar ETAs. The similar ETAs may be a longer path. They may take a little bit more time. There will be many traffic jams that you may also see it in the GPS. It will show you a red color. So there will be a lot of traffic jams. There's so many more disruptions. But you can always go through that adventure, go see if you can cross the traffic jam. If there are some roadblocks, would you take another path? How are you going to manage all of that? That will give you many newer learnings. But then the easiest and the quickest path is just one. That is the Bhakti Yoga. That is my understanding of the shloka and about the Jnana Yoga and the Bhakti Yoga. Thank you. If anybody has any doubts, then please to ask me. I'll try my best to answer them.
Manya, can you go back to the shloka?
Yes, Vijayji.
Your screen is not appearing.
Okay, I'll try doing that again. Is it visible now?
Yeah. Okay. So now, here Sri Krishna is talking about path of action and path of jnana. How did you infer bhakti from this shloka?
I did not infer it. It's just that there were many other paths apart from the path of jnana and the path of karma. So to explain that these two paths are not different, because anybody who would read the shloka for the first time would feel that these are completely two different paths. So they would think that these are two different paths. That is, the karma yoga and the jnana yoga are completely contrasting each other. But then to explain that that is a part of a ladder, and these two are the rungs of the ladder. I also came through the other rungs of the ladder, and it's also as Krishna like explains that the bhakti yoga is the most easiest path, because Arjuna asks.
1 minute. In this shloka, where has Sri Krishna said Bhakti Yoga is the easiest?
He in this particular shloka he is not mentioning that.
So first is, when we are explaining a shloka, we have to keep in the context the shloka. Okay, so first of all, tell me, why is Sri Krishna talking only about karma and jnana here?
Because Arjuna asked which is the easier path.
So now, okay, let's understand what is karma. What is karma according to you?
It's action in the simplest terms, but
it is action, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so say for example, you are teaching someone. It is an action.
Right.
You're writing something. It's an action. You're chanting something. It's an action. Correct?
Correct.
So whether it is the name of the Lord or whether it is the song of a movie, it is an action that you are doing, because there is still, I am chanting. Why am I chanting? Why are you chanting?
I'm chanting to be able to because now I know that I like this, because now I know the truth. That is the reason I'm chanting.
You're chanting because you feel separate from the Lord. You feel separate from something. See, chanting is what? Chanting is usually you are chanting some name of the God. You feel, I'm inherently separate from the God. So I feel separate from something. So I do something to become one. That is fundamentally karma. Whether you are chanting, whether you are doing service, so all are, whether you're doing pranayama or whether you're doing meditation, all of them are doing something. So all the doing is karma, is action. So it is one category. The other category is simply the realization that, see, in that story that you narrated, Ganesha simply did not say that, simply did not argue that, my father and mother are the world, so I ran around them. Ganesha has realized that Shiva is a representation of the universal consciousness, which is what is functioning as an awareness within you. And Parvati is a representation of the the energy aspect of this consciousness, which is what appearing as various forms. So the story is not that simply he went around two people called Shiva and Parvati and said, okay, give me the mango. The story is showing that, realize that ultimately what you call as this entire world is nothing but forms of energy. What is water? What is ice? What is water vapor? All are different forms of water only. So what is tree? What is stone? What is elephant? What is human form? All are different forms of that consciousness only, that divine consciousness only. The forms are representation of the various changes, and the changeless is the consciousness. So that's what that story is. So therefore, When Ganesha went around Shiva Parvati, he did not literally go around. He has realized that truth. So he got the mango first. So to tell that story is there. So fundamentally, everything in this world, in order to attain the enlightenment or to realize the truth, can be classified into only two groups. There is action, you do something to attain, whether you are doing a service or whether you are chanting or whether you are sitting and doing pranayama, all are action. There is a I am someone who has to do something to be or to attain something. So I am separate from something, right? So that sense of separation is what is causing them to do something. So therefore, fundamentally, there is karma and there is jnana. Jnana is realization that I am actually not separate. So in that, there is no doing. So in that sense, here Sri Krishna is simply saying that these are two paths. He has not yet said here which is higher, which is lower. So when we draw inference from a shloka, therefore we need to be very careful. Are we keeping to the context of the shloka? So the other inferences that you've drawn are influenced by your other understanding, which we need to discuss separately. That's a separate thing. But when you narrate a shloka, keep to the context of the shloka.
Yes, Vijayji. Thank you, Vijayji.
Yeah. So see
Yeah.
the point that you made that bhakti is easiest can be, for example, which is easier, swimming or flying? A fish will naturally say swimming. An eagle will say flying. So therefore, it is not about which is easier. It is about fish has a different mind, eagle has a different mind. So Sri
But then
Krishna, yeah.
in Kali Yuga, most people would find that Bhakti Yoga is easier.
That
Most
is
people.
the way you are understanding. Now, do you know the mind of Anita, Aditi, Aditya,
No.
Vijay? Yeah, to your mind, it is resonating. So,
Like usually people say that, right? That Bhakti Yoga
that is
is
the
the easier.
opinion. You are reflecting the opinion of others. You understand? See, somebody has
Yes,
taught you, so that opinion you're reflecting. Usually people say, who are those people who are saying? Who are those people? Where you have heard this? And now you're reflecting that, isn't it?
yes.
So therefore, when you are teaching, when you are talking about this shloka, you are there as a guide of Sri Krishna. What is Sri Krishna saying here? He's simply saying, realize Arjuna, there is karma, there is jnana. Jnana means simply the realization, the inner clarity. You give a couple of examples, like the Ganesha Subramanya story as an example. What is the jnana in that? Jnana is this. So do you have to do something to realize that jnana? No, it is simply, the jnana that fire burns. Initially, you may say that, okay, I have to take my hand to the fire and I got burned. Oh, it is the taking the hand to the fire that gave me the jnana. But now that jnana is there, the realization is there. Is there something more you have to do? There is nothing more. From now onwards, you know that fire burns. You know. So, for example, whatever comes in the sky in the morning, in the night, it may disappear. Whatever there is taking birth, it may disappear. It may go away. When hunger comes, hunger goes away. So like that, you simply realized. You don't have to do anything to realize that. You've noticed and there's a realization, inner clarity that has come. So that is jnana. Okay. So here, Sri Krishna is bringing the distinction between, hey, there are two paths. There is path of action, there is path of jnana. And so far he has not said which is higher, which is lower. That much should be our focus of this shloka.
Okay, Vijayji.
Yeah, so what you are saying, most people say, you have to question that. Most people say, are you reflecting the opinion that Sri Krishna is giving here, or are you reflecting somebody's opinion related to this shloka? So you have to be very, very conscious of that. Otherwise, we can mislead children who are going to listen to us. A fish may start thinking, oh, the only way to really realize the truth is I have to become an elephant.
Yes, Vijayji. Sorry, Vijayji. Next time I'll stick to the shloka part.
No. I'm not saying this not so that you can tell me sorry. It's a very important thing that happened. I'm saying this so that we can be aware. It is not that you're mistaken. It is not to show the mistake at all. This is to say that as a teacher, you have a great responsibility. So now you may have some opinion that you may say that is the right opinion. But here, what is our job? This is what Sri Krishna is saying. Is Sri Krishna ever talking here about bhakti? If Sri Krishna is talking about bhakti and saying that bhakti is the highest, then you and I could have said that. So then you need to read Bhakti Yoga, 12th chapter. What is he talking about Bhakti Yoga? Read that. Then we can discuss that, right? So therefore here we should stick to the focus of the shloka. Is this bringing clarity?
Yes, Vijayji. A lot of
All-
clarity.
All right. See, now that clarity, you said, I have clarity. Now the clarity is simply a realization. It's okay, I've eaten mango. I know the taste of mango. I know the taste of mango. You don't have to keep on eating. I know, right? I know the intensity of the fire when it burns. I know what burning means. I know that is realization. That's it. There's nothing more to that. There's no more. I have to keep eating many, many mangoes. Then only one day I will know the taste of mango.
Yes, Vijayji. I understood now. I got a better clarity. Thank you so much, Vijayji.
You're welcome, Mama. I know it's already 9:50. You may be running late. But are there any questions from Aditya, Anita, Aditi, based on what we discussed so far?
No, uncle.
No, that's good.
All right. So we will have a separate discussion, Manya, about what is truly bhakti and the representation that bhakti is the last rung. What does it really mean? So we have to understand, because the way one can also understand is, oh, there is me and there is God. God is somewhere else. And I have to keep on praying to God. I have to submit to God. Means what? What does it mean to submit to God? Okay, God pushed me into, let's say I was walking and there was toilet water. I fell into toilet water. God pushed me into toilet water. Now, God, come and save me from toilet water. And somebody comes and gives me a hand. Oh, God came. So like that, I can keep interpreting, and I'm just simply somebody who falls and wakes up. So that is not bhakti here. So what is true bhakti has to be realized in the right context. So let's go into that discussion separately. But as far as today's shloka, simply Sri Krishna has said two paths: karma, jnana. Jnana means simply clarity about certain aspect. And which aspect? Aspect of the truth. What is reality of life? About that question, what is the realization. So there are some who have a intellectual bent of mind and those who have that intellectual clarity. And there are those who attain the same clarity through karma. How do they attain same clarity through karma? That we have to understand clearly. That we will discuss separately. All right. Anita, Aditi, Aditya, anything else?
No,
No.
uncle.
No.
So in the next session, Anita Aditi will present and we will discuss the same shloka. We will stop our contemplation of the shloka here.